Hello everyone, and today on this video we are going to replicate what we saw on the last video using markers, but now using Builder. And really what we are going to do is exactly the same steps, but using Builder. So we go to New, Strategy Builder. The limitations of Builder for executions are many. Okay, we have several limitations. For example, we cannot use ATMs. But the good part is that we can use a builder strategy for backtesting and optimizing parameters. So one version is good for optimizing, the other version with markers is good for execution. First of all, we start from new strategy builder. We get this window, we select new strategy, next choose a name for your strategy. For example, example number 1. You cannot use spaces or special symbols on the name for your builder strategy. Okay, example 01. Perfect. We are working at bar close. Next, if you want to add a second time frame, this is the place for doing that. Today we are going to do something very simple, so I am going to ignore this part. Also, I am going to ignore the custom series, and we go directly to the input parameters. Input parameters are parameters that we want the user to be able to change, and also that we can optimize with Strategy Analyzer, something that we are going to review on the next video. Which are the parameters for my strategy? Usually the target and the stop. I am going to use a default of 10 ticks. And stop also with 10 ticks. Then we have two periods, fast and slow. Fast period in this case is 17. For the name of the parameters, we cannot add spaces, but you can replace the space by an underscore. We have also slow period, and in this case it is 100. Next, now we have several sets with each one a condition and an action. The condition is a group of conditions, everything that must be true to execute a set of conditions. And for example, for longs, I want a crossover, cross above the 0 of the slope of this line. The slope of this line we already saw, it is the momentum with a period of 1 of the HMA. So we can add this. Add, on the left we said which is the indicator. The indicator is this one, the momentum indicator. Momentum. The momentum has one parameter, the period is 1, but the momentum of not the default. Here we can nest this to another indicator, in this case an HMA. And the HMA has a period, but the period, instead of fixed, we can link this to one of the input parameters that we are using on the strategy, fast period. Now on the left we have the momentum of the HMA with period fast, and we want to detect when there is a crossover to the upside. Cross above the number 0, because we are detecting crosses above the 0. The numbers are inside miscellaneous. Miscellaneous, numeric value 0. Okay? Cross above, momentum of the HMA of 0. When this is true, we can add more conditions. One of the conditions is the filter. The filter is this. The momentum of the other line is greater than 0. So we can add that the indicator momentum with a period of 1 of the indicator HMA and now the period is the slow period. Okay. So I want the momentum of the HMA used as a filter greater than 0. Greater miscellaneous numeric value 0. So when I have a cross above of this histogram and also the momentum of the second histogram is greater than 0, then we have a signal. Just for checking, instead of placing orders, we can draw something. Like for example, we can draw a vertical line. Let's draw a vertical line. We can also paint the background. Here we painted the background. The equivalent is set background color. But you can paint a vertical line in color whatever. In this case, let's paint the background in color blue. Okay? And now to replicate this, we can right-click the tab, duplicate, and now we do the shorts. For the shorts, we change the color to violet, whatever. And change the logic. Which is the only difference? One, instead of a cross above, is a cross below the 0. But also, the second histogram must be negative. So this is less than 0. Okay? So now we have longs and shorts. Compile. And now we can apply the strategy to the chart and see if the signals are similar. It should be the same, no? Than the marker signals. So we can right click, strategies, the name of this strategy is example 01. This one. Here we can see the parameters. And on the control center, on the tab strategies, we can enable. We need to be connected. If we are not connected, we cannot enable the strategy. Now we enable the strategy. So what we can see here is which are the signals are executed. Because with the filter on, the signals are painted, but some of them are executed, some of them are not. Instead, here the strategy is just drawing the signals executed. We can also do that on markers, but I can do that on another video. Anyway, you can see this is really simple, and on the following video I am going to explain now the following step, because here we have 4 parameters: the target, the stop, the period for the slow, and the period for the fast. In the following video we will see how to use strategy analyzer to find the best combination of settings. If you are interested, please give me a like, click on subscribe and also on the bell to get a notification the following time I upload a new video. And don't forget that we have a chat room on Discord. The access is free and the instructions are on the description of this video. Thank you everyone. Bye bye.